What is up, everybody? Back with some Capitalism Lab. It's been a little bit, but from here on out, you should expect more frequent uploads. I'm aiming for consistency, so every Monday you should see a Capitalism Lab episode at the very least. Hopefully more, but at the very least once every Monday. That is a good starting plan that we can hit. So we left off with very healthy cash flows from our real estate empire that we were kind of expanding. I got a lot of amazing feedback from some of you in the comments that I will be hopefully incorporating into some of my strategy here. There's a lot of great feedback on real estate, on our banking venture, and on the game itself that we can look to implement that I didn't really know. So, first off, if we look at this bank, let's just go ahead and kind of do a reanalysis. Our balance sheet is not very healthy. We took a lot of losses. So actually, let's start with the income statement. We don't have any interest income at the moment, and that's just because we stopped loaning to everybody, and we're waiting for this cash balance to recover and our revenue and profit to at least be flat. Our problem was we accepted deposits rather quickly and too quickly at that. So this would end up growing, and these are liabilities in our balance sheet, which makes sense because we owe the interest on these deposits, and we owe these deposits to customers. And when we loan out, those are considered assets because they're revenue generating vehicles. So that's something to keep in mind. Our cash balance is negative, and so our capital ratio is actually negative as well. I assume we're going to have to inject capital at some point in the future to get this balance back to zero, or at least start making a profit to start denting or take away some sort of dent on this negative balance. If we go over to the income statement, so actually let's go over to the deposits. Yeah. So this is zero, makes sense because this is zero. We're not generating anything off that. But then we pay interest off the total deposits, and that total interest expense is around 12 million. And so that flows into this total net interest income of 12 million, and we should see that on the income statement, which I think is annualized. Yeah, this is annualized. So divide by 12, that's what you get here on the income statement, which makes sense. Loan defaults, we don't have any, which is fine because we aren't loaning out any money. It makes sense, and that gives us our gross profit, and then we have all of this overhead here. One thing that I'm going to do that I really didn't keep in mind when we first tried this venture was we're not going to keep up with our competition right now. I lower the interest rate to the minimum amount that we can so we can decrease that interest expense and stop the bleeding, or at least minimize the bleeding for as long as we can. We're still going to wait for all of the deposits to eventually be, I think, returned to customers as we kind of empty out and start fresh. But deposits have been declining rather quickly, which is good. That's what we want. We just can't accept them as fast as we did when we try this again. And again, it leads to us having liquidity issues. And so I think in this video, stepping away from that, at least for now, we are going to look to raise some cash and have enough to get that cash balance back to zero, because we're bleeding and we're always injecting cash, and it's been a huge financial drain for us. So we're going to see what we can do about that. This is still recovering slowly, and it's probably still a few episodes away, or at least one episode away. So what I want to focus on actually, and again, this is some other feedback that I received from you wonderful people in the comments, is if I go under the city screen, I can actually see the supply and demand index for both office space and residential. And that's something I didn't keep in mind. I was more blindly placing real estate, which has been effective so far, but it could be a little more efficient if we pay attention to this. And if you look at all these cities, if you pay attention to this bottom left graph, the housing index is positive, which means that supply is greater than the housing demand. If it's negative, then it's vice versa. So I want to actually start focusing on the commercial space because that's something we haven't really touched actually in our venture. We've only done residential, so it'd be nice to at least diversify some of that real estate. So that's what we're gonna look to do in this episode. Hopefully, raise some even more cash to eventually pay off that negative balance from our bank. And I think after that, we can reevaluate and see where we are. But looking at all these indexes, I mean, all of them are positive. There's no really favorable one. Okay, well, Murray, I think, actually gives us the best opportunity from a supply and demand standpoint. That's right. We do have this middle area that we bought, and with 23 mil in cash, I think we could start utilizing this. So commercial space right in this area, I think that'll be really nice. So let's actually start there. Okay. I'll probably go with the cheapest one right in this corner. No land cost. Great. Okay, the central business district. Now, how do I see where this is? I assume it's somewhere in the middle of the map. Okay, that's something we're going to keep in mind. I didn't know that these were different. I assume they're different requirements, which it makes sense, but we'll keep that in mind for future properties. That should be fine for now. We still have a lot of other space here. I'll probably just let that ride out. I don't want to do anything with it yet. I don't actually know where the central business district is. I would just assume it's somewhere in the middle of the map. I mean, that can be kind of trial and error too. So now we're low on cash. Let's actually get this running, just to make sure we can get some inflow. Do we have any money in the market that we can use? About 11 mil in CBS. Probably gonna let that ride. We could raise more money. I'm still scared of diluting our stock, per se, until we do some sort of buyback. But we could go to the bond market. I don't think we have any bonds issued yet. What kind of... So, let's say we issue... Let's say we raise 100 mil, or 100 mil. Annual interest expense of around 6 mil. That's not bad. That's barely any dent in... I mean, it's a little bit of a dent, but not much in our cash flows. So that's okay. If we move this to 10 years... Oh. Wait. 10... Oh, okay, 10 mil, sorry. Let's do 100 for 10 years. 8 mil. That'll give us enough time to at least make some of that back. Yeah, so we're going to raise 100 mil there. So now we have 115 mil to work with to expand our commercial real estate. I'm going to stick with the lowest quality ones for now until I get a better idea of some of the requirements that will make these properties more attractive. I'm thinking somewhere on this corner. I don't want to go too far away from this middle area. I mean, and it's not that much better. But I think over time, it'll be fine. So we have those two commercial buildings. Let's place one more in kind of the southern part of the map. No, we already have, actually start northeastern. Or north, yeah, let's northeastern. I'm thinking right in this corner. Buy out these residents. That's an expensive piece of property. Which, yeah. 22 mil. And they stole it from us. Right as I was about to place it. Okay, we'll go a little further out. Okay, it's 12 mil right here. That's fine. And look at the commuting convenience. So that worked out well, actually. Thank you, Warren Buffett. All right. So, what are these occupancy rates looking like? 5%. a lot slower than the residents, that's for sure. I mean, these aren't that attractive anyways. But I'm hoping, for some reason we can't actually, oh, we can toggle it. Yeah, we can toggle it here. I don't need to make, again, this is about stability. So let's go 80%. Boost that rent attractiveness a little bit. I just want to get people in the buildings, or get corporations in the buildings, or whoever uses them. And we're already, okay, we surpassed 50 mil in operating profit. That's really exciting. We have about 56 mil left. And we're generating very healthy numbers. So, let's see. Let's go back to the city screen and take a look. This took a bounce, which is expected. We did place 3 different facilities. I would say this city here, I'm going to call it Fifi Heights, is the next best at a 0.53. I don't think we have any properties in Fifi Heights anyways. So let's see, what do we have here? I'm thinking this area right off the bat, buy out these residents. The land's probably going to be super expensive, so we might only get 1 property in here. 18, 20 mil. Yeah, that's about what I expected. If we put it on the corner, ooh, 33. No. Let's go. Okay, things are already going up as we speak, so let's try and steal one of... Let's go here. Had to cop that piece of land. We're going to move this... Actually, we're going to keep it and just let that go over time. If we're not at full occupancy, oh well. We might only be able to afford 1 other property now. Simulation isn't going as fast as I thought. That might just be my PC. Oh well. How's our stock doing? Investors like it. Investors like what they see so far. Okay, stock we're up 12% now. That'll give us around 13 mil. You know, that could be enough for a 3rd property in this city. So, or 2nd property, sorry. Yeah, let's go ahead and sell CBS. Where did they go? Okay. So, 28 mil to work with. How are the metrics on that property? Where'd it go? I'm still getting used to the corporation screen, so I can actually transition through each of our units better. Because trying to find them manually doesn't only work for so long. Okay. Yeah. Craig Murray. Fifi Heights. Where'd you go? Not apartments, commercial buildings. There it is. 3 in Murray. Okay, yeah, we have 1. Oh, right here. Okay. Very good commuting convenience, so I'm glad we were able to land that. Rent attractiveness could be better. You know, let's lower it to 90. See what happens. I think it's somewhere on this western part of the map for a 2nd building. Wow, even land cost is 30 mil all the way out here. It's not much better in the southern... Actually, yeah, it is way better. We just don't have the funds. Okay. So we need about 40 mil. We're about 5 mil off. And there it is. So that's very healthy. Okay. Let's put it here on this corner. It's only 12 mil. It's pretty cheap. I think there's going to be a lot of expansion out this way. So, and look at that, we nailed the community convenience too. I don't know how that's actually measured because this distance to the central business district is awful. It's actually horrendous. But we'll give him a discount for it. We'll put this at 85%. That'll increase this. And there we go. Boosted this to 56 mil in operating profit with about 1 million left in cash. Our next step is probably just to let this run and let this income come in. Because I'm very weary on raising more debt. Just because we're going to have to pay this back in less than 10 years. 2029. I forgot when we issued it. I assume the same year. We didn't advance that much. Yes. One other thing that I have to keep in mind as far as our bank, the allocation, that doesn't adjust right away. We very much have to ride that out and wait for those loans to be paid back before it adjusts. And so I got a little impatient. I remember last time we looked at that in Craig, because yeah, I mean right now we're gonna start with the balanced. Again, some of you in the comments suggested that we overweight some of these top tiers just because apparently you can get hit pretty hard from defaults if we enter a recession. We're not there yet. The economy's looking healthy, but let's just preset this at something closer to not that. Let's just say something closer to this, about 80% in AAA and single A ratings. This is still going down and should hopefully eventually hit 0. Probably not this episode, but I'll probably do that off camera just because a lot of this is just patience at this point. I'm going to see if we can turn a profit just with the headquarters. I'm not going to open a branch yet until we can ensure that we can make a profit, and our graph is certainly getting there. Our income statement, losing about $1 million a month, just under. And this 63 mil a month now too. I think our next milestone is 100 mil in operating profit, and once we get there, I'd be very comfortable making some sort of injection. So it's just scaling our real estate. It's just I don't know if now is the right time, just because supply is so much higher than demand, at least from those indexes that we looked at. Can we see when our bonds are due? 2039. Okay. Yeah, we're still 10 years away. We should have plenty of time. It's okay, so I would say really it comes down to two things. We need about 200 mil in 10 years. Ideally, I want to inject 100 mil into the bank before that, but we need another 100 to pay this off. And I'd rather keep a healthy balance sheet and not carry and roll over debt. But I mean, I suppose we can see what happens when we get there. I want to see if this is going down and by how much. Losing about 835,000 a month. And I assume when this updates, this new number will get carried over because this is year to date. Yes. 835. Maybe it already changed. I didn't really see it, but okay, whatever. That's fine. Our revenue is basically flat. And our deposits are still declining, which is good, actually. So yeah, I mean, as far as milestones, if we hit 100 mil here, I'll feel comfortable injecting some money into here. We can then look. Actually, our cash balance is improving. I swear this was at 90. Negative 90 mil before here. I don't know how we're actually reducing this, though. And inflation. All right. Just what we need. Yeah, this is decreasing. Good. It's really just a waiting game at this point. And look at this. Oh, such a healthy. As far as a company, our banking balance sheet, yeah, could be better, but our company balance sheet actually is looking pretty nice. I haven't seen a need to pay any dividends yet to our shareholders. Really, I don't, I don't care about inflating our stock price. We only own 20% at this point, anyways. Uh, yeah, we have over $1 billion in assets too. That's exciting. Our land is worth $1 billion on itself, and then business assets are around 140 million, and then 40 million cash. Yeah, income statement is looking very nice. We're generating around 7 million operating profit a month, which after tax we're taking home around 15. So yeah, we should build this up in no time. I'm not really worried about that. It's just being patient at this point. We could try to scale a little bit more actually before we end this episode, but we have a much better roadmap of where to go in the future. Let's take a look at cities. Okay. We could go back to Craig. We're in Craig now. Could go back for some. I would think 2 more properties would get us very close, or at least put us around 85, 90, maybe, depending on the location. And we can also boost rent back to the market rent because they are at a discount right now. But that's as the occupancy increases. I don't think it's anywhere near 100 yet. So let's see here. This land's going to be very expensive. It's just because Craig's a pretty developed city. Yeah, I mean, this land's 36 mil. Yeah, 2 properties for 55. That's going to be a steal. Because at this point, you get too far out from the center of the map. That it makes it difficult. This corner would be okay right by our bank. 30. We're close. We're going to have to wait 1 more month, I think, before we want to purchase here. Still an expansion. Good to see. Simulation's running painfully slower than I usually thought. Apologize for that. But I think you guys have the general idea of where we're trying to go. Let me know again in the comments if you think this is a good route to take. I think we're on the right track. Our banking venture hopefully won't flop a second time, as we have a much better idea of how to go about it. We're going to go a lot slower. I think that's kind of the main lesson to take from that is we've expanded too quickly, we bled too much cash, and banking is a very capital intensive industry, and we should have seen that coming. I think we're in a much better position though to scale. And even so, we're not gonna scale right away. We're gonna focus on just maintaining what we have, having an efficient allocation of loans, hopefully generating more loan interest than interest expenses, and yeah, we'll go from there. But we'll wait at the end of March. Hopefully, we'll plop this, and I think we'll be good to go. A little bit of a shorter episode, but we're in a good spot. Next episode, I think you should. I'll probably advance until this is over 100, or our cash balance is over 100. So a little bit of a fast forward, but that should be fine. Just because with how slow the simulation's running, but we're in a good spot. I like it. We have a very healthy balance sheet and a very healthy cash flow coming in. Our banking venture will be a challenge, but we have a much better idea of how to go about it. And the bar stole the place I wanted to put this. All right. That's cool. The month will pass. We should have enough to at least place it on this corner, unless Pfizer comes in and steals it. So this is okay. We have enough here too, and that's actually cheaper, a little bit. Let's place it on this side. Very good community convenience there. Distance the central. Oh, that's unfortunate. So let's start this at a discount too. And we're in a good spot. So we diversified our real estate empire in this episode, expanding into the commercial segment. Next episode, you will see me, hopefully, pay this down and get rid of this. We still have 85 million deposits, but I think it's much more manageable. Deposits from HQ, yeah, so we're not actually paying any outrageous interest rates anymore to different corporations, which is good. So next episode should be the first episode into getting back into banking. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. We did a lot today, and we're in a good spot. It should be a lot of excitement coming up. I hope you all have a great week, and I will see you next time.